This episode is sponsored by Trend Micro, a global leader in cybersecurity. Learn more about their 30 years of security expertise on their website, trendmicro.com. My guest today has extensive experience in the U.S. federal government through his 20 years of federal services. David Chow served as the Chief Information Officer for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, leading the IT modernization of the Federal Housing Administration mortgage loan systems and its $1.3 trillion portfolio, and drove operational efficiencies using robotic process automation and artificial intelligence. After that, David accelerated digital transformation through secured cloud adoption in the financial sector as Global SVP on NextGen Solutions at CoreLogic, a FinTech data company. David now takes on the role of Chief Strategy Officer at Trend Micro, a market leader in hybrid cloud security, network defense, small business, and endpoint security. David, welcome to the show. What keeps you up at night? What's your cyber fear, David?
I'll tell you, it's actually cyber fear is actually related to my kids. So my kids, they love watching YouTube. They're into social media, and my cyber fear is that what are they doing with YouTube videos? What are they watching? And also, what are they doing in the cyber world? That's something that I'm sure that it's not just myself. I'm sure a lot of parents are having the same fear as well.
Yeah, I've got a very similar fear. I've got two young teenagers, I guess, and they're on YouTube all the time and they're on social media. So that is certainly a fear I have. And I'm always kind of checking in just to making sure they're cyber safe. So it can be a challenge there. Hey, I had a couple of questions that I'd love to get your insight on there, David. Now, you were the CIO at HUD, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and you helped in the modernization of their IT systems. Maybe you could tell us about some of the cybersecurity challenges that you had to overcome there.
Sure. I typically, when I talk about cyber risks and cyber challenges, I look at the area of people, process, and technology. So from the technology aspect, the environment has been somewhat, there's been a legacy environment within HUD for the past 20, 30 years. We were still using mainframe technology that was built back in 1970s, 1980s.
Oh, wow.
So in a way that it's hard to secure the overall perimeter when you have a mainframe environment or a legacy environment. Sure. And then adding to that, the process, we have had a large number of audit findings on cybersecurity. So in government, we actually go through a third-party audit sponsored by government. And within those audits, it's actually an audit of your cyber health. And within those cyber health, we have a number of those which were not addressed. So when I took over back in 2018, we actually went through and looked at the overall landscape. And we came up with 230 audit findings that we have not addressed. So the size of that, that's very telling of the culture of that environment, as well as the issues that we're facing, or I was facing within that environment. And then lastly, to the people aspect. So if there were so many audit findings that were neglected in the past, that essentially is the mindset of the people there, that they just either didn't really care about cybersecurity, cyber hygiene, or potentially that they weren't asked to really pay attention within cybersecurity area. So what I did was really focusing within those three areas and really build a roadmap and then leading to an overall program to establish much better cyber hygiene, leveraging zero trust capabilities to really mature the overall organization from all three aspects, people, process, technology, as well as implementing a security operating center so that we know the data that's going in as well as coming out of the environment, as well as who is accessing those information and at what time and at what location. So those were some of the stuff that I was really pushing forward as part of the digital transformation within HUD.
Yeah, it sounds like a monumental task, but certainly you're up for the challenge. Now, while you were at NextGen Solutions, you accelerated digital transformation through secure cloud. And a lot of times people hear about cloud and they kind of back up and get nervous. How secure is it or not? Now, a stat I came across there is that I guess about with banks are aiming to triple their use of cloud by 2025. but currently about 5% say they host more than half of their data in the cloud. So I started to wonder, maybe what's holding them back? That migration and that adoption of the cloud? Is it because of cybersecurity issues? Is it something else?
So with banks, I actually have a lot of experience dealing with bank as well as financial industry. I was working at FDIC. I was working for NCUA, National Credit Union Administration. Those are financial regulators. And even moving into the FinTech company, it's largely dealing with mortgage data or financial data. So, and what I've seen, or at least I observe, is that most of the financial institution, they're a slow adopter of technology. There's a lot of legacy debt within their IT environment, largely because you look at the way of driving revenue. It's really ensuring operational uptime for banks. So, and you'll see that within a lot of banks, they still leverage mainframe technology simply because those were something that was built back then. It was still working, so why not continue to use it? And if they were to introduce new capabilities, for example, a cloud migration capability away from mainframe, it does take operational downtime. So when you have a publicly traded financial institution that has to respond to the board and that has to respond to the shareholders, having operational downtime essentially could reduce the overall revenue temporarily. But if you look at the overall longevity of an corporation, if the corporation is actually investing the money to go through digital transformation and do it well, in a way that it will reduce the overall risk from the cyber attacks or cyber threats, and in a way that it's also enhancing the reputation of the company, and at the same time that it's ensuring the longevity as well as operational uptime down to the future, rather than having to continue to tackle or patch any issues or any operational debt that's incurring from the legacy environment.
Mm. So it's kind of a lot of things you got to juggle there and be careful, because introducing too many things I could see could actually cause more problems. So it's I guess it is a juggling act in a sense, so you don't have too much downtime. Really interesting. Hey, let's focus a little bit more on your current position, because Trend Micro, everybody hears about it. It's an exciting company. It's a global company. You guys are doing some amazing things in cybersecurity, keeping over 500,000 organizations safe. So maybe as the global chief technology officer at Trend Micro, could you share maybe a few of the things you're involved in? What are some things that you excited?
So I get very excited talking about our products as well as the people that's involved with the products. We have, I would say that overall, and this is based on my 20 years of working as a practitioner, as a CISO, as a deputy CIO, as well as a CIO, I get excited because our product actually offers a comprehensive suite of cybersecurity solution, as opposed to our competitors. They probably are focusing more in the niche area, either endpoint protection, firewall, or certain areas, or network sensors. So we actually offer much more robust as well as comprehensive in the realm of cybersecurity solution. And at the same time that we have this solution called Trend Micro Vision One, it's actually an XDR capability. It's aggregating all the data from the network sensors, from the endpoint protections, as well as the firewalls, to be able to aggregate to present back information to the CISOs or to the director of security operating center, so that they're able to make quick decisions through the dashboard format, through the single pane of glass, and be able to apply the necessary organizational risk as well as organizational cybersecurity policy, and take action against any threat or any potential threats. So that's something I'm very excited about. And I think one other element is that, especially in my past dealing with legacy environment, this XDR capability can actually overlay on top of legacy environment, and then be able to have integrations even with our competitors, data integration with our competitors, so that we can actually draw the necessary data for the entire enterprise, so that we're able to make decisions and helping the organization to be more secure. So that's something I'm super excited. And then we also add in threat intelligence, and that's just something that I'm very excited about. One other aspect I'm working on, which is a little different than my former jobs, I'm no longer a practitioner. I'm basically providing strategy. I'm providing technical perspective as well as my past experience as a buyer. But what I do is that I see a lot of corporations that they're struggling in terms of understanding the end goal for cybersecurity, ways that they can communicate to the board, getting the necessary attention as well as moving forward on protecting the environment. So that's where I actually come in. I build a relationship through connections, through our clients, and be able to really work with them to ensure that not only that we're offering the best customer experience, but at the same time that we're offering ideas, concepts through proven experience, my proven past experience, to be able to help them to communicate to the board, to the decision makers, as well as the stakeholders that actually that's focusing on ensuring the reduction of the organizational risk within the cybersecurity area.
Yeah, that's great. It's pretty powerful because that's actionable items that you guys can actually take there and make a difference there. Beautiful stuff there. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for sharing your insight and taking a little bit of time with us, David. I'm curious, could you share maybe with our audience, our viewers and listeners, how can they learn more about what you're doing and certainly what Trend Micro is doing? Where's the best places to go?
Yeah, so I do have a LinkedIn account, so definitely look me up. Trend Micro, we're actually platinum sponsor at Black Hat. We're also sponsoring a couple of AWS events. One is coming up next week, AWS Reinforce, that's up in Boston. And then AWS reInvent, that's in December in Las Vegas. So we're actually looking forward to see a lot of you. And I'll be there as well. So, I'll be managing the booth. So I will make sure that I'll talk to you. Just mention Scott and we'll give you a free t-shirt or something like that.
All right, good. Yeah, look forward to hopefully catching up. I'm going to be out at Black Hat 2 in Vegas. So hopefully we can catch up and say hi to one another in person instead of virtual. But thanks again, Dave, for all your insight and taking the time out. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate it.